My name is Alice and I am the daughter of a detective. I have been trying to become a detective like my father since I was a child. Until today, I arrested a robber in a convenience store perfectly. I thought this was the beginning of my detective career. But I never thought I would fall in love with the smuggler's son. It happened after the arrest of the robber. Detective James approached me and wanted my help in finding evidence that the suspect Joseph was smuggling gold. Because he was my favorite detective, although he treated me just as his sister, I had no reason to refuse him. To get close to Joseph, I became a bodyguard for his son, John. His son was rumored to be a reckless, spoiled high school student. But when I met John for the first time, I was dumbfounded. It was no exaggeration to say that he was the most handsome man I had ever seen. But the opposite of his angelic looks was his flirtatious personality. Because of his impolite flirting, I knocked him out. Although I stated that I was just conditioned, he was still so angry that he wanted to fire me. As a bodyguard, I needed to follow John. It was also my job to catch him sharply when he was just about to fall down, but I nearly fell into his pretty pupils. Fortunately, his girlfriend Vanessa broke the weird atmosphere. John told me he didn't actually love Vanessa, but what did that have to do with me? I concentrated on finding evidence of Joseph's smuggling, but the omnipresent John left me with no way to get started. John was a nuisance, childish and irrational. But when I was being molested, he would stand up for me, even he knew that he was no match, and instead I had to clean up the mess. Instead of feeling terrible or rude, John found me even more attractive. I almost got carried away by his praise. My heart beat faster and my whole body became strange. I told myself I had to finish quickly. The opportunity was soon approaching. Joseph was away on business. I started looking for the gold while everyone was asleep, but I was accidentally discovered by John. I didn't know how to explain, and to distract him I grabbed his head and kissed him. The worst part was that I enjoyed it. He confessed to me after the chaotic night, and I was annoyed and anxious because John was so clingy. Since confirmed the relationship, he even grabbed my hands while eating, watched me from morning to night, even cooked for me, fed me, and kissed me. He told me his biggest dream was to become a chef and have his own restaurant, but his father wouldn't allow him to do that. Although I found it was kind of sweet, I even started to feel sorry for him when I thought about his dad being a criminal. But I had to get it done, and I told John that nothing would feel better than achieving his dream, so stop being a loser and be bold. Finally I found the opportunity to get into Joseph's bathroom and found the gold and have Joseph brought to justice, but I wasn't happy about it. I saw John come up to me, coldly congratulated me on the success of the mission and left. All I could think about was John. When Officer James, whom I once liked, confessed his love for me, I actually didn't have an ounce of joy. I turned him down. 2 years went by and I never saw John again. Until I went to a new restaurant one day and saw a familiar back in the kitchen. Only then did I realize that John left me to become a chef solely because I told him at that time to be himself, to do what he really wanted to do, and not to follow his dad's path. As for the reason he left me, it wasn't because I sent his dad to prison, but because he thought I was pretending to love him. Actually, no, I wasn't pretending. I walked up to him, kissed him, and walked with him into a future that belonged to us.